Welcome to the Positive Sports Podcast, where we like to talk sports and talk sports from a positive angle. I'm your host tonight, Ed Montana. With me today, my muscle-bound friend, my brother, Alex. How you doing today, Alex?
What is up, Ed? Welcome, everyone.
It's time.
It's time to bust your bracket.
Oh, man. I tell you what, I watched a little bit of the selection show. It was crap, but I'm still super excited.
Yeah, because the games are on for another few days, right? Well, you got 4 games.
Does anyone watch those games? Do you watch those games?
No. And if you watch them, you have no life. Unless that is your alma mater, right?
Right. Like if you're a Radford alum,
yeah,
you're like, shit stops on Tuesday for you.
You know what they should do? They should start the NIT before the tournament, right?
Okay.
And make this first 4 in, make it to like a first 16 in, and then the winner of that plays the winner of the NIT tournament, right? The not invited tournament, right? And then the winner of that plays like the NBA with the team with the worst record, and then that team is the team that gets the number 16 seed to play.
I disagree with you. I think what they should do, now that I think about it, they should take these 4 games, right? These 8 teams, take them and
get rid of them.
No, but like make them play, but then make the losers go play in the NIT, right?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, no. The majority does not watch these 4 and it just,
you know, when they first came up with the play-in games, I thought, well, this is gonna screw everyone up because no one can get their brackets in on Tuesday,
right?
Everyone's gotta look at their brackets, and you got people turning in brackets at like 10 a.m. on Thursday for the 11 a.m. game. It's ridiculous.
So speaking of 10 a.m. Thursday. Right, you got the first round of the NCAA tournament. All the games are done, Thursday and Friday. What is the best sports day of the year?
Best sports day of the year.
Right, we have Thursday and Friday of the NCAA tournament. We have opening day baseball.
Oh.
We have Super Bowl Sunday.
Ooh, that's good.
You have Thanksgiving football. You're eating and watching 3-4 games of football from.
That's good.
I mean, what is the single best sports day?
Oh, what about NBA basketball on Christmas Day?
Yeah, you'll get about 10 games that day, all televised.
You know what used to be really good was New Year's Day, right? The college bowl games on New Year's Day, but now it's kind of become diluted because they take there's only. Well, they play the 2 semifinal games on New Year's Day,
right?
But they're semifinal games. It's not the championship.
Right. It doesn't have that oomph.
Right. And before you watch those big bowl games, usually had national championship implications, and it was over. It was that day, and it was it. So it was really good. They really kind of killed the momentum for that.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
From the ones you mentioned, I can't think of any. Of course. Opening day of the Premier League, which no one cares about here. Anyway, well, you got the World Cup coming up.
Ooh,
the final of the World Cup. The only problem with that is it's once every 4 years.
Yeah, and that's what makes it a little more.
Yeah, so
for me, I have to say, it's hands down the NCAA tournament. Think about this, okay? You go to work. The games start at 11
o'clock.
11 o'clock in the morning.
Time, right, Central Time.
Right, Central Time.
Eastern.
I don't know about you, but that means 2-hour lunches for me. Right? You go, you sit down, you eat with your coworkers,
have a beer.
probably guys, and you watch games.
Hey, don't be a sexist pig. Do you know how many women are into this NCAA tournament?
No.
At my office, there were more women into it than the guys. We had more women in our office back then. But
when he said, what's the ratio?
When it comes to making money for doing nothing, everyone's in. And that's what, the Bulls...
Well, they probably have their husbands at home picking the games for them.
Yeah, in some cases. But
But no, yeah, for me it's got to be Thursday and Friday of the tournament.
That's tough. I'm a huge baseball fan. I have played hooky on opening day. I'm 46 years old. I've lived through, this will be my 46th opening day. I have probably played hooky from school and or work for 35 of them.
Nice.
My dad used to cut, you don't know this, you were too young.
He's my dad too.
Well, yeah, but in this case he's my dad. Dad used to cut me out of school because his boss used to give him tickets to opening day at Yankee Stadium. So sometimes it wasn't the actual opening day, right? It was the Yankees. If the Yankees opened on the road, it was a week later. But Dad used to cut me out of school. And you know how Dad was with school.
Yeah.
Dad would bust my ass quick when it came to school, except for opening day.
Right.
I mean, he'd write that note himself, and he's got to go to the dentist or the doctor or some shit to get me out of school. And we would go to opening day every day when I was a kid.
Yeah,
it's one of my fondest memories of that. By the time you came around, he quit
doing it.
He was a little less mobile. Going to the stadium was a little bit more difficult for
Guys,
him.
I'm clearly not the favorite.
and then there's that, right? Hashtag truth. I think I would go. For me, it's a tough call between opening day and Super Bowl Sunday. Super Bowl Sunday to me has become just a day-long party. Even if I don't go to a party, I'm eating and drinking all day, and I'm just jacked up for the game. I watch all the pregame stuff and whatnot. So that's big. But yeah, the Thursday, Friday, the NCAA tournament. The only damper on the Thursday, Friday, the NCAA tournament is that you have to go to work.
Yeah.
And if your boss is a D-bag, you gotta have the quick hide. You gotta be quick to the minimize button.
Yeah, but if you work in an office, then boss, I'm gonna be on conference calls all day long. Doors shut.
Shit. You know that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna block my Outlook calendar with meeting.
I think I'm a bad influence on you, man. If I got you. So let's get into it, man. The tournament, the bracket. Who got stumped? Who do you think got shafted on the seeding? Does it matter?
I don't think the seeding is a big deal. People make a big deal out of the seeding. I think it's more important where you get sent to play those games, right? Like we saw last weekend, and we talked about this a little bit. Michigan playing in New York was like a home game for them. So if a team like that were to get sent somewhere where they've got a massive following, it's huge. So and there's some schools that kind of have that pull all around the country, but in certain places much more than in others. Michigan, I believe, got sent to Kansas, which would be great, except for the fact that there's no people there. They're all Kansas fans. Like the 6 people there are Kansas fans, so they got screwed. But so the seeding doesn't matter all that much to me. I'm more interested in where they're going, and I never know where they're going. It's not like it was back in the old days.
Now that you mentioned that, Michigan State plays in Detroit.
Yeah,
they got lucky, and
that's huge for them. That is huge for them, especially. And we talked about this previously too, right? All these teams that are involved in this Adidas scandal, the FBI investigation, to play those first 2 games at home. I mean, for Michigan State, basically at home, that's huge for them because that basically gives them. I don't want to say a bye. That's disrespectful, but that makes their path to the Sweet 16 much easier. And once you get to the Sweet 16, you got to think about it now. It will be 3 weeks removed from the scandal thing. I think we'll be much more into the what's going on in the Sweet 16? Right. Who's going to win the tournament? Who's going to advance? Final Four, Elite Eight, all that other stuff, and let's talk about the scandal of it all. So, all right, you want to break down brackets? You want to break down you want to go through them individually?
We can break them down. Yeah.
All right, go ahead. Where do you want to go first?
Well, I mean, you got to start with Virginia, the number 1 overall seed, right in the South region. I think their toughest matchup will come in the Sweet 16.
Who do you think is going to come in the Sweet 16? You got Kentucky, Davidson, Arizona, and Buffalo would be the 4 teams that they would have possibly face.
I think easily. Yeah, Buffalo, sure. No, I think easily Arizona.
Really?
Yeah.
With all the problems they have?
Yes. Yeah.
See,
you know what? what's his name? DeAndre Ayton.
What's the guy?
That's his name.
Hey, what's the guy's name from Arizona? The really good player. By the way, I'm sorry, folks. I forgot to tell y'all. We have a producer.
What?
But he has no sound. He is completely quiet. He's working in the background.
Yeah, he's a mime.
That's right. He's basically an e-producer, right? It's all internet, man. He's all internet.
That's not true. Our fingers are like magic, man. They're a magic wand. We just, we snap our fingers, and the words come.
The guy from Arizona?
No, internet is spelled with an I.
Oh. Go back to look at what I asked you to look up.
DeAndre Ayton is his name.
Ayton is his last name. I believe that is correct.
Yeah.
The guy from Arizona.
We don't need the internet. I know everyone's name.
Oh, my bad.
All five.
Virginia being a number one seed, the number one overall seed. I'm not as impressed with Virginia as everyone else seems to be. Don't get me wrong; they're a one seed. Mm-hmm. Absolutely, they deserve it. I don't know that they're the best team ever. The kid from Arizona.
What about?
What's his name?
DeAndre Ayton.
DeAndre Ayton. That's his name. So that guy, he is something else. But again, I think Arizona's got a lot of problems, and I just wonder if they're going to be able to focus enough. Sean Miller has a lot of problems. Yeah. Sean Miller is in big trouble. Sean Miller has a contract situation. Sean Miller has a career situation. And Sean Miller has an FBI situation. That's a lot to put on one dude. And the scrutiny of the tournament, especially as you get into the further rounds, I just don't trust them.
It is, and I agree with you, but look, the talent is there. And you can't overlook the talent sometimes when you're playing a team like Davidson or whatever. And speaking of Davidson, I got them upsetting 12-5 Kentucky. That's the upset.
All right.
Let's get it out there.
Let's get it out there. I'm not impressed with your upset pick because everyone picks a 12-5.
Wrong. You got to pick the one out of the four. That's the one.
Okay, so what are the other ones? We're jumping around here. West Virginia, Murray State, Creighton, New Mexico State, and Ohio State, South Dakota. Yeah, that does seem like that seems like a no-brainer. That's a wrap. Sorry, Kentucky fans. Our Kentucky fans right now are hating us. There's Virginia fans that hate me for saying they're not that good. But again, I didn't say they're not that good. I said I don't know that they're number one overall. I personally think Villanova is the best team, but the best body of work may very well be Virginia. I think it's 50-50. So I don't have a problem with them being number one overall. Virginia fans, please don't roast me. Actually, you can go ahead and roast
them. Roast them. I want to hear it.
That's what this bracket stuff is all about. About roasting your friends and even your enemies. Just roast everyone.
Yes, I personally like Virginia out of that region.
So you like them all the way to the Elite Eight, is what you're telling me?
A little bit further than that.
I'll tell you what, I like Tennessee out of that. I like Virginia out of the top half. The bottom half, I like Tennessee out of that bottom half.
Really?
I think Cincinnati's a bit overrated. I'm not terribly impressed with them. But Tennessee played extremely well in the SEC tournament. And I think Tennessee is moving in the right direction. They look good. I think that they will give anyone a serious run for their money. Heck,
they got holes on location too. They're playing in Dallas, and I think
that's okay because they're playing Wright State and then the winner of Miami Loyola. So Miami doesn't exactly travel a ton of fans, not for basketball anymore.
Yeah, true.
So they'll be all right. And Texas is not that far from Tennessee, is it?
I don't think it is either.
We're not good with geography. We need to stick to sports. Let's go back to the basketball.
I think I skipped that class, but whatever. I guess great minds think alike because I have Virginia and Tennessee playing out the Elite Eight.
Yeah, so, I think Tennessee is, but yeah, and even that, man, that now that I look at it, and we've only had the brackets for a couple hours, there's not much for Virginia in here because I'm not sold on Kentucky. I think they may lose to Davidson. I think that's a good pick. I'm not sold on Arizona. I think Arizona's just got too many issues. And then that bottom half, really, all you have is Cincinnati and Tennessee and maybe Miami, but none of those teams really scare me.
No, they pretty much have. It looks like a clear path right now.
So we've got Virginia in the Final Four from the South.
Okay.
On to the West we go. Let's see. Number one seed there.
Back to Cali. No? LL Cool J? To the West? Cali? Forget it.
Do me a favor.
Jeez, why do you look at me like that?
Do me a favor. Don't ever sing again.
I'm a good singer. You should hear me in the shower.
We had 5 listeners. They all just left. Do you hate listeners?
Come back. I won't sing anymore. I promise.
Jesus Christ. Back to the bracket. Oh, God.
Okay, this is an interesting bracket.
Please don't sing it.
No. The West, I think the West is where we're going to get most of the action from. Okay? Xavier, I think they got gifted the number 1.
Who would you have given the number 1 over them?
I mean, you got to go UNC or Michigan. Michigan is playing the hottest.
The Big Ten didn't get a sniff of a 1 seed.
No.
The best seed
I think they only got in
Purdue.
I think they only got in like 4 total teams. Yeah.
No,
And yeah.
That's not good.
So I think Michigan deserves a higher seed than that. I mean, the way they've been playing, and they were like a 5 seed in the Big Ten tournament. They beat Purdue. They beat Michigan State.
Twice they beat Michigan State.
Yeah.
The season
I mean,
well.
I think that's a huge sleeper team. You could have put North Carolina at 1, I guess.
But don't you think that we really... I mean, this is really difficult for me. I'm a Michigan man.
Uh-huh.
But I'm going to have to root against them because they're playing against Montana. How can I root against my own name?
Holy crap, you're right.
How did you root against your name?
Well, I didn't even know we had a college. Oh, I went there.
No, we've got a whole state.
A whole state?
We've got the whole state. That's ours. We own that shit. They don't know it, but we own it.
Yeah, well, thanks for telling me.
You don't see people, hey, do you know anyone named Joey, Texas? No, right? That's our state. That's ours. I'm pretty sure that when Mom and Dad die, we get the rights to it.
Yeah, they probably don't even know that we own it.
They probably don't even know there's Montana. I thought Xavier got gifted the 1 seed, but again, there's not much in there. Although, when in that Sweet 16, if they have to play Gonzaga, I think that's where they're screwed.
You think so? See,
Gonzaga's tough.
I think
I'm surprised they only have 4, to be honest.
Because I think they faded in the past few years. That they made the tournament, they've kind of been fading, and they don't get past the Elite 8. They might have made the Final Four a year,
once or twice.
But
how many times has Gonzaga made the Final Four?
That's a good question.
I don't. Maybe once in the last 10 years, because they've been one of those sub-elite teams in the last, I'd say the last 10 years.
And you know what? And they play out there in the Mountain West Conference or something. The MAC. I don't know. They don't play in a tough conference.
Yeah, but they have been playing well, and I mean they didn't just go through their tournament. They annihilated. Yeah. They were beating people by 20, 30, 35 points.
What did you want to know?
Gonzaga. How many times has Gonzaga been in the Final Four?
Yeah, so I don't see. I have Gonzaga losing in the second round to Ohio State. I just don't see them.
Ohio State's not very good. I think Gonzaga will blow right through.
Do you?
Yeah, I think Gonzaga's got an easy path to the Sweet 16. I don't think Ohio State has been not good.
Yeah.
The last month, 6 weeks of the season, they've been poor. Here's something interesting though. What about Missouri? Right, because they're getting that Porter kid back, and apparently he's going to be back for the tournament. Last I heard, right?
Well, he played in the last game, or the last 2 games of the conference.
Big Ten tournament, in the Big 12 tournament.
Yes, which I think. Look, that might be a separate segment, but they were going to make the tournament anyway. I don't think he should have played. You know, the kid's probably going pro after this year. Whoever is advising him, I don't think did a great job of putting him out there. You know?
Yeah, I mean he's
I don't know,
going pretty high regardless.
Yes,
of
he's top 3. He's top 3, and I don't think that it was worth playing him.
Yeah,
maybe to get ready for the tournament, but I just don't.
As a fan, I completely disagree. But as a business person, and if I was his father, I hate to say it, I completely agree. Which is part of the problem that we have with this whole tournament and whatnot. I mean, these guys being one and done. I mean, it's rough, man. It's rough for the product of the NCAA tournament. Anyway, back to the brackets.
All right, so
the bottom half has Michigan and North Carolina, which I think is going to be a fantastic Sweet 16 matchup.
Oh yeah.
And then, I mean, you got Xavier. Maybe Missouri if they make it out of there, but Gonzaga and North Carolina and Michigan.
For me, it's North Carolina. They played pretty good in the ACC tournament.
Yeah.
They have a lot of experience on that team, believe it or not. So I think playing together for a few years.
Yeah, that's true.
They don't have a lot of one and dones.
That's true.
So I got them going to the Final Four. Personally,
I don't. I have Michigan going to the Final Four, but that's the homer.
Yeah,
absolutely, absolutely.
Okay. Nothing wrong with that.
Once you get to the bracket, once you get to the point in the bracket where a game involves Michigan, you really ought to listen to my brother and not to me because, so like whenever you get to the Final Four and you got to match them up with the team from the South, you probably don't want to listen to me because I'm probably going to say Michigan's going to win, right?
Can't blame you.
Yeah. The East, you got Villanova as your 1, Purdue as your 2, Texas Tech as your 3, Wichita State is your 4. So let's start with the top half. Again, for me, Villanova is easy to the Sweet 16, but I'm a big Villanova fan. To me, Villanova looks like the most NBA-like team. I mean, they just look the part of a champion. They look the part of. They walk out onto the court and they play the game and they behave like they are head and shoulders better than you. And it doesn't matter who the you is.
Right.
It could be, Radford or it could be Virginia. They walk out there with that attitude and they play that defense and they shoot the ball well. They're just tough to beat, I think, all the way around. And I'm a big Villanova fan. To be honest. In that top half, I just don't see it. Wichita State's pretty good, but I don't think they even come close to Villanova.
I gotta agree 100%. I don't see any team beating over on the top half. And like you said, it starts with the coach. They have an awesome coach, and if you've seen them, they focused in on them when they got selected as the number 2 overall team in the tournament. It's kind of like it's all about business for them. They didn't stand up. They didn't no hoopla. It was just clapping, and it was very. I don't know. I think they're very well coached.
Yeah, and they just got this professional attitude.
Yeah.
They're going to be tough to beat. In the bottom half, you've got Florida. I think Texas Tech at a 3 seed. Texas Tech could very well come out of there. I don't have a ton of faith in Purdue. Arkansas, Butler is neither one of those teams really scares me. Florida kind of does. I think Florida's a good solid basketball team that if you catch them on the right day can really screw you up. But to me, Texas Tech looks the best coming out of that piece.
I actually don't even have Texas Tech coming out. Actually, that half of the bracket for me is full of probably
guesses.
Yeah, pretty much. And because I have Purdue all the way up to the Elite 8.
Oh, wow.
Call me crazy, but
I just don't think Purdue's that good.
Yeah.
And then you got Villanova, Purdue, I guess, or even Texas Tech. And again, I'm on the Villanova train all the way.
Yeah.
Until they have to play Michigan. And then I'm off the Villanova train. And I hop onto the Michigan train and hopefully fast. The Midwest.
Oh, you got Kansas seeded number 1, Duke at the bottom number 2, right?
Yeah.
You got who's number 3? Michigan State and Auburn round off the top 4. Okay, so if you start at the top with Kansas, did you know that Kansas only has 1 championship and they didn't win it? Oh, I'm sorry, under the Bill Self era.
Oh yeah.
I'm sorry.
Well, how long has Bill Self been there?
Well, they won it in 2008. He's been there for about 11 to 12 years.
Wow.
Right?
It didn't seem like that long.
No, I mean that was like back when Derrick Rose was on the. I think.
Man, oh man.
Yeah, it's been a while since they've been right there every year.
Yeah.
Seems like.
Well, they're one of those blue collar. They're one of those elite programs, right? The blue bloods, as they call them.
Right.
Kansas, Duke, Kentucky.
So I mean, if you go through their top half of the bracket, I really don't see any.
I don't see anything there either. I mean, you're looking the top seeds that they're going to face in that upper half is Auburn or Clemson, and I'm not impressed with either one of those teams. In fact, I don't know how either one of them ended up with a 4 and a 5 seed.
Yeah, I have no clue.
Clemson, New Mexico State. That looks like a possible first round upset as well. New Mexico State's not bad. They're a decent team, and they're one of those nasty teams that play out west. That late games and no one really watches.
Yeah,
they'll give people fits. In the bottom half, you've got TCU and the winner of Arizona State and Syracuse. How in the hell did Arizona State and Syracuse get in? I know you've got to have 68 teams to play this thing, but is Syracuse even over 500?
That's what I was gonna say. I don't even know that they've.
What's Syracuse's record? I mean, it's just they're terrible. I don't understand how either one of them is in the tournament. It's just they're absolutely awful. And
hey, can we get Syracuse's record?
Quite frankly, I think TCU's going to beat the tar out of either one of them.
Now, the problem I have in this bottom half of the bracket is Oklahoma. They are as overrated as they come. Trae Young
They're a 10 seed. That's not overrated.
No, they don't belong in the tournament.
They're a 10 seed. They're not overrated.
Yeah, no, that's overrated. Even that. They should have been the 17 seed. And Trae Young has been worn out like 4 tires on a NASCAR. Okay, I mean,
what do you know about NASCAR?
I know absolutely nothing. I just know they have 4 tires.
Oh my goodness! We just got into
20 and 13. Syracuse 20 and 13.
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah, 7 of those games were against a high school team in the area.
Probably.
Yeah.
Okay. Well.
I can't believe they have 20 wins.
Yeah. No, me neither. I thought they were somewhere around like 15 and 17 wins.
What about Arizona State? What's their record?
Hey, shows how much we know, right?
My goodness, but they're just terrible.
So yeah, I mean that's my only problem on that side.
I don't think Oklahoma's overrated at all. They're a 10 seed. They're not even Hey, by this, Arizona State.
27-7.
Arizona State?
Oh no, that's Arizona. My bad.
You're fired.
Arizona State is 20-11.
20-11.
Okay, well,
Well, yeah, obviously they're over 500. They're in the tournament, but it's it's just
yeah,
they're terrible. I don't think Oklahoma's overrated at all. Oklahoma they're ranked 10th and they're seeded 10th by the seeding system. They're not even expected to get out of the first round, which to me is about right. Trae Young, I think Trae Young is. I don't think Trae Young is that good.
No.
Quite honestly, I think he caught lightning in a bottle early in the season. People figured it out, and he's just not that good. And I don't think there's anything to talk. Honestly, you know what we're doing here is we're treating Oklahoma like Tiger Woods. We're talking about a team that's going to be out in the first round. They're going to be around in the tournament for 2 hours, and that's it.
You're right. So I think come the Sweet 16, we're going to have a rematch like we do every tournament. Michigan State, Duke.
And I think Duke blows them out.
Yeah, I agree.
I think Duke is good. Michigan State's very good as well, but I think Michigan State has a lot of problems between the years at this point. I think the investigation is wearing on them. It's wearing on Izzo. You can see it in his press conferences. Now, all that being said, I wonder if the week off doesn't do... Now, see, there's a team that's going to really benefit from the week off.
Do you?
Right? Because a week of no press conferences and, it may help them, but I still don't think it's going to help them enough. But really, you got I think it's Kansas and Duke. I mean, we sound like a bunch of chalk writers here, but
seriously, but if you break it down, now we're no ESPN college basketball, ESPNU experts, but if you break it down like we have,
hey, we are PSP experts, Positive Sports Podcast experts.
You're damn right. I mean, if you break it down like this, I mean, there's not many teams that you can say, even if they upset right in the first round. I mean, there's not many Cinderella teams, but that's what you always say before the tournament starts, right?
Yeah, and then you get into it, and you get a team that, a George Mason that runs all the way through to the Final Four.
Yeah.
But yeah, Of course, there's going to be a double digit seed that makes it to the Sweet 16, and maybe even the Elite 8. But it's hard to see right now. But at the same time that we say that, this is really, I think, one of the better years for that to happen multiple times, because the top 4 seeds in each region don't give you exactly the warm and fuzzies, right? I mean, Virginia went through and won their tournament. Villanova has been up there all year. Kansas had a nasty little spot in the middle of the season that made them look very vulnerable. Xavier, I don't even think anyone was talking about Xavier as a 1 seed up until the last 2 weeks.
No. And they finished above Villanova in the conference, I believe.
Who won the Big East Conference?
I'm sorry, Villanova won Villanova did.
They won the conference tournament.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
So wait a minute. So the Big East got 2 1 seeds?
Yeah.
Well, but then who do you get? Like, who would you give a 1 seed to other than, like, of the 2 seeds?
North Carolina.
North Carolina, yeah.
Or I'm telling you, even Michigan. And it's funny that we go back to the week off, right? Michigan State, the week off from all the media and all that, and how is it going to affect Michigan, right?
Yeah, having the week off.
Because they were in such a groove.
The good thing about Michigan, though, is, and for people that aren't big Michigan fans, this isn't the same Michigan team from a few years ago that won the national championship against Louisville. That's right. That's our national championship now. This isn't that team, right? They've evolved. That was a streaky 3-point shooting team. This is a defense team.
Oh yeah.
And the good thing is a week off helps defensive teams. It messes up with the rhythm of a 3-point shooting team or a hot shooting team. So week off does Michigan good. It gives them a time to rest. It gives them time to come down off the tournament, the Big Ten tournament that they won. I think it does them good. And where they're at, a 3 seed, look, you're going to have to play a North Carolina, a Xavier, a Gonzaga somewhere, right?
Yeah.
Who cares what color jersey you're wearing? It's not like in football where you got to go up to Lambeau to play them. You're playing them in a neutral site.
Exactly.
So being a 2 seed or a 3 seed really kind of doesn't bother me one way or the other. And when you look at the whole body of work, I think a 3 seed is about right. So I'm not hurt there. But I think that bracket is the most interesting.
Yeah.
The other 3 brackets, I really feel like chalk almost.
Yeah, there's
maybe Duke over Kansas in the Midwest. In the South and in the East, man, I think Virginia and Villanova are locked. So I think we're going to have at least 2 1 seeds in there.
And everyone, this is what makes Thursday and Friday of the NCAA tournament the best day of sports, because you don't know, because we can chalk it up all day long, we can dissect, but there will be an upset. There might even be, never mind, there'll never be a 16 seed over a 1 seed, but you'll have an upset. You'll have that Cinderella team that nobody thought.
I actually kind of disagree. Now that I think about it, I kind of disagree. Thursday and Friday is great because you finally get the tournament going,
right? And
you got games from noon until 1 a.m., right? So it's, just basketball all day. And every game is do or die, and you see some dramatic finishes, and it's the same thing on Friday. But Saturday and Sunday is where you start to see Cinderella, right?
True.
Because a 12 beating a 5 on Thursday, yeah, it's an upset, and it's cool and all. But what really makes it is when that 12 knocks off 4 on Saturday, right? To get to the Sweet 16. So I think, but it's the whole weekend, right? It's just so much fun.
It is.
It is. I love this production. If I wasn't so disgusted by the way the NCAA works, sometimes I'd give them kudos for putting this on every year. But I can't be nice to them. Well, kudos on putting this on. Now let the freaking players have some cream cheese on their bed.
Exactly.
Oh my goodness.
Hey, and we would like to know your opinions, right? Let us know. What's the best sports day out there? Let us know. You got opening day baseball. You have the Super Bowl Sunday. You have Thursday and Friday the NCAA tournament. We would love to know what is your favorite day of sports.
Yeah, definitely. Hit us back, positivesports10@gmail.com, or hit us up on Twitter, eMontana21. My brother Brooklyn Gaucho. Definitely let us know. We'd love the banter back and forth with you about it.
Hey, so
I think we've talked enough basketball.
We have, and we got to save it because it's
We're
3
going to
weeks
talk about it
long.
next week.
It's 3 weeks long. So there was a funny story that happened about 2 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
That as soon as I heard it, I thought about you.
About me.
About you.
Uh-oh.
Right? So you had and it happened 2 weeks ago, but whatever, I'm going to bring it up. I don't care. It's my podcast. I can do what I want.
That's right.
Steph Curry was in a hotel room and he was swinging a golf club. And he swung the golf club and apparently it hit the light fixture.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Okay? And the first thing that came to mind was my brother and my dad, and I was too young to see it. I think I was alive, but I wasn't.
Yeah,
I was probably in bed or something.
Yeah.
And it just brought back a good storytelling.
You want me to tell the story?
Yeah, tell the story because I think it's.
Oh my God! This is one of the funniest things that has ever happened. My dad is a serious guy. Not that he's not friendly, but he's serious, right? Stuff is supposed to be done the way it's supposed to be done, and that's it. God damn it. So I played a lot of baseball when I was a kid, and I was probably like 11 or 12 years old. You were a baby, and I wasn't hitting well, and I was never a great hitter, but I was struggling. I was particularly struggling at this point in the season, and my dad and I were sitting around talking, and he was giving me advice and this, that, and the other thing, and I was listening. And my dad and I have always had a very close relationship when it comes to sports in general, but especially with my baseball. He always, encouraged me and gave me advice and whatnot. And he was breaking down my swing and telling me that I was uppercutting my swing. And I was like, okay, Dad, I get it. Yeah, I got to stop uppercutting my swing. I got to straight through. And finally he goes, bring me the bat. I'll show you. And I'm like, all right. And so I get my bat, and I bring it over to my dad. And we're in the kitchen, right? Which, I know this sounds silly, but in my house, when I was a kid, we spent 90% of our time around the kitchen table, right? Because even after we ate, we'd sit around and talk and stuff. We didn't watch a ton of TV. Mm-hmm. So we'd hang around the kitchen table. And so we're there, and my dad is standing, and he's holding the bat. And from the ceiling, we have dropped down the light. And it's just a single light bulb, right. And it has a decorative flower over it. And so there are petals of flowers around the light, right?
Around the fixture.
Around the fixture. So the light's in the middle, and the fixture sits on top. It's got a hole, and then the petals come down over the light, so you can't see the light bulb, right? So it makes it a little bit dimmer, right? It's not as bright. And I'll never forget this for as long as I live. My mom's in the shower, and my dad's like, "You got to swing like this," and he shows me a nice level swing. He goes, "You got to swing like this. You got to come straight through the ball. You got to come through the strike zone." He goes, "What you're doing is you're going like this," and he swings upward, and he hits this flower, and there's petals flying everywhere in the kitchen. I don't know. The thing had like 9 petals on it before he hit it. 9 or 12. It had a shit ton of petals because there were plastic petals everywhere. And all of a sudden, the lights swinging back and forth and shit. And all of a sudden, it stopped swinging. and there's only 3 pedals on this thing. And all of a sudden, the kitchen looks like an office. It is, bright white. And not 2 minutes later, my mom comes out of the shower. She comes out. You can tell she cut her shower short. And she comes out, and she's like, "What happened?" She heard all this racket, these pedals flying around everywhere. She goes, "What happened?" And at 12 years old, I had broken my fair share of shit in the house. I was not gonna take the heat. I threw my father under the bus faster than Usain Bolt. I was like, he did it. He had the bat. He swung the bat and fucked up the light.
How long did that get you grounded for?
my dad couldn't stop laughing, actually. And my mom came out, and I'm sure mom was going to be upset with me from the jump. Nope. She looked at me, and my dad just kind of like, sorry.
That is a classic Montana Thanksgiving Day sit around the table story right there. I that's the only thing I could think about when I heard that. It's the only thing.
Oh, that was hilarious. Yeah, I've never laughed so hard in my whole life. I've never laughed at a story after the fact because that day I was scared.
Yeah.
I thought that light was. I thought the place was going to go on fire, right? I thought the light's going to break. We're going to get electrocuted, some shit. These pedals are flying everywhere. And then my mom, I'm like, oh shit, I'm going to get blamed for this. And I'm like, I'm not taking the blame. Fuck that. I'm blaming the old man straight up.
Poor dad. If I was his dad, I would have thrown his ass into the bus.
Yeah, I'm glad my dad did.
That's funny. That's funny. That's good
still
stuff.
Funny.
That
story never gets old, and it's 35 years old now. So Steph Curry breaking stuff with a golf club. So let's talk about golf.
What about it?
So now,
what about it? Because
let's go ahead and talk about Tiger today. Let's talk about Tiger Woods, for Christ's sakes, right? For all of you people that want to talk about Tiger Woods all the time, let's talk about him now. He came in second. Now.
Well, no. We're not talking about Tiger. We're talking about golf.
Let's talk about Tiger Woods. But now's the time. He came in second place.
I mean, if let me ask you something. If he wouldn't have made the cut, would you be watching today?
I didn't watch anyway.
Bullshit.
I didn't.
You were watching on Twitter. Just like I was. And I got home on the 15th hole, and I would not change the channel.
You watched the last 3.
It was excellent. What are you talking about? He was down 2 strokes, and he needed to make par, I believe, on the last one, and obviously he came up short. But I mean, dude, he makes it exciting to watch. I don't want to watch Patrick Clark. I don't know who Patrick Clark is.
But again, I don't have a problem with that. If you're not a golf fan, you're not a golf fan. But don't talk to me about Tiger Woods when he's missing the cut. That's my problem. And quite frankly, my problem is not with ESPN. Well, kind of. My problem is with golf. You cannot put all of your eggs in the Tiger Woods basket. I understand that it seemed like he was never going to lose. It seemed like he was going to win 53 majors. I understand that it seemed that way. But the fact of the matter is that Father Time touches everyone on the shoulder and tells them, your time is up. And that was going to happen to Tiger, whether he got injured or divorced or had problems with crack or whatever the hell his problems were. That was going to happen to him sooner or later. And golf screwed the pooch by not focusing on the game of golf, on the excitement of the Masters, on the young guys that were coming up. You have to keep developing the game. You have to keep pushing the game. You cannot put all of your eggs in the Tiger Woods basket. That's my problem. He came in second. Let's talk about him now.
Okay.
Now I'm willing to talk about. Now I feel comfortable hearing from everyone about how good he was, how bad he was. Did he do this? Did he come up short? Has he ever won a major after not leading after 3 rounds? Does he have any comeback? All that stuff that we want to talk about. Now I'm in favor of it.
Well, obviously, Father Time has not caught up to him. Okay, I wouldn't give 2 rats booties. Okay. If Patrick Clark and Joe Schmo were battling out for to win the thing, but Yeah, I'm watching because Tiger Woods is in it.
I know, and what I'm saying is that golf has screwed up golf by making it that way. Your reaction is exactly what is wrong with golf. It is exactly where golf has screwed up. They have made Tiger Woods bigger than golf. And that's not good because Tiger Woods will not play golf forever.
Let me ask you something. Okay, I don't know too many golfers, but when Tiger Woods was in his prime, he was winning.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
And I watched.
Okay, and Jordan Spieth or whoever else. I'm sorry, I don't know many golfers. You probably know a few more than I do. But there is no consistency in these golfers in their prime. There just isn't. So it just doesn't catch my attention, and I think that's the vast majority of sports fans and golf fans. I just don't think that there's a clear cut. And you're right. That maybe golf not marketing, not marketing the right golf or whatever it may be. But the fact of the matter is that I'm watching the product on the golf course.
Yeah, I think, and my problem is with golf, and my problem is with ESPN because I think they've done a disservice to the game of golf. There's a lot of good guys out there. Jordan Spieth is still really good. Rory McIlroy had a 3 or 4 year run that was very good. Phil Mickelson was good for a long time.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it was at the same time as Tiger.
Right.
But Justin Rose is another one that's really good. I mean, there's guys out there, and you have to pump the variability instead of hanging everything on the hat of one man. And that's my problem where I think that's where the PGA screwed up. Look, NASCAR is super popular in sections, granted, but NASCAR is doing great or has done great in recent years. And they don't have anyone that's overly dominant. Jimmy Johnson has won the most. He's won 7 titles, but there's a lot of guys that win a lot of races. There's a race every week, and they have 36 races. Jimmy Johnson doesn't win them all.
No.
Jimmy Johnson doesn't win the Daytona 500 every year.
Well, I mean,
Is there a Super Bowl?
Well, you can't compare golf into making 4 left turns for 500 miles.
I'm not comparing them as sports. What I'm comparing is the way NASCAR has marketed and developed their sport as opposed to how golf has.
Right.
And golf has said it's Tiger Woods or bust. Thank God he was good, but now he's not that good, although he was this weekend, and he's not going to be good forever. Yeah. What are you going to do when he's gone? NASCAR continues to thrive in spite of that. So that's my beef, and I know it sounds like an anti-Tiger rant, but and the fact that people watch and the ratings will be so much higher because he was hot this weekend and whatnot just furthers my point and furthers my disgust with the PGA people and really to a certain extent with sports outlets like ESPN and Fox that only want to jump on the golf train when Tiger's involved and continue to shove Tiger down our throat when he's missing the cut. That's where I have a problem. Because you and I missed the cut too. And we're not on ESPN, right?
Hey man, I make the cut every time. I don't know what you're talking about. When I go to the miniature golf course, I make the cut.
Dude, I will smoke you on the miniature golf course.
No, you won't.
You want to make a little wager? Right now on the podcast, in front of all of these people.
What's the wager?
Whatever you want.
Oh man, put me on the spot.
1 round of miniature golf, I bet you I'll beat you.
No, there's no way. I've played miniature golf way more times than you have.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll give you that advantage.
And I'm much younger.
I don't.
I'm made for that.
Father Time has not touched me on the shoulder when it comes to putt, brother. My putter is strong.
We can make a gentleman's wager and, a Gatorade.
Or a frosty beverage.
Oh. Okay, well now you're talking.
Yeah.
Now you're talking.
All right, you're right. So,
all right, you can let go now.
I'm not holding on.
Come on, dude. Let go.
I want to make sure. All right, we're on. So it's on. Sometime in the next month or so, we'll get together and do that.
Yeah, we have to. It's golf season, right?
That's right. For the Masters, we'll do it. Masters weekend, we'll do it. Out there, all of our listeners, I want you to vote. We'll put something out there.
Yeah.
Vote to who's going to win the Ed and Alex Putt Putt Challenge. Or you can email us. positivesports10@gmail.com is the podcast email address. Email us your votes, or you can reach us at emontana21 on Twitter, Brooklyn Gaucho on Twitter, and let us know who you think is going to win. If you think my brother's going to win, lose my number. We can't be friends. Just kidding. So let's move on to a little positive running.
Good deal.
I will make it a relatively short one because we have talked about so much basketball that I've forgotten how to run. I think at this point.
Yeah, I didn't realize we've gone on this long.
Yeah, well,
It's never too long.
That's a good point. We always have fun chatting about this. But anyway, so we're going to go on to a little positive running. So today, I want to talk about how to deal with injuries and aches and pains and things like that. When you train especially when you train for a long period of time, for a bigger event or even for smaller events, if your body's not used to it, right? Your body has to readjust to this new you. So if you're training for a 10K or a half marathon and you've never run one before, your body has to adjust. And the best way to go about it is a slow buildup, right? So you start off running, call it 10 miles a week, and then you get up to 11 and 12 and 13, and you have a week to kind of recover. You come back to maybe 10 or 11, and then 14 and 15 and so on, and you build up. The catch is always the balance between listening to your body and wimping out, right? You may not know the difference, but chances are inside your head you always do know the difference, right? There's a difference between being injured and just being achy and sore because your body's not used to it. The aches and pains, man, those are going to be there, but like I always say, the juice is worth the squeeze. You go through it, your body will adjust to it, you will get better on the other side, and you will achieve something. You will get your just reward. Running is one of those things that I think is a pure sport, right? What you put into it is what you're going to get out of it, and the clock will not lie. It's just that simple, right? So if you want to go out and you want to run a 5K in 30 minutes and the clock says 29:50, you didn't get lucky. The clock is the truth. If the clock says 32 minutes, the clock says the truth. I can think of very few times where I've looked up at the clock at the end of a marathon and gone, I can't believe I was that fast. Never. It just doesn't happen, right? Every time I've looked up at the clock and it's had a time at the end of a marathon, I've said, yep, that's about what my training was like.
Right.
So, you're going to get out of it what you put into it. And so, you just got to push through. And those aches and pains, it's okay. Your body will adjust to it. You'll get used to it. It's just like running, right? The first time you go out running and you haven't run in a while, or it's your first time ever, you haven't run, you go out and run a lap around a track, which is a quarter of a mile, you feel like you're going to die, right? You can't breathe. Your eyes start to get a little hazy. I mean, you think, I'm going to meet my maker. This is it. And then 2 months later, you're sprinting around that track 4 or 5 times, and it's like nothing, right? It's just, I'm out of breath, no big deal. So it's a matter of getting used to it, and it's like we always say here, just keep plugging away. The juice is worth the squeeze. You will get your just reward. A lot of times I see people start training programs, and they're like, oh, well, my knee hurts, my back hurts, and this, that, and the other thing, and it's like, sometimes you just got to power through it. Don't get me wrong, if you feel some sharp pain, you may have a problem. You got to take care of yourself. But if it's just aches, you know the difference between an ache and pain. I mean, there's a very real difference. So just keep plugging along. I think that, like I said, running is a very pure endeavor. You are going to get out of it what you put into it, and it's up to you how much you put into it. It's up to you how much you put into it. It's up to you how much you're going to get out of it, right? It's kind of like when you were in school. You didn't get an A. You earned an A, right? And it's the same thing in running. You will you will not get a medal for running your 5K. You'll earn a medal for running your 5K, your 10K, your half marathon, whatever it is. So always keep after it. Keep hammering. I follow a guy on Instagram and Twitter, a gentleman by the name of Cameron Haynes, who does ultra running. Runs like 240-mile races, right? Just that's the ridiculous of the ridiculous. And his mantra is keep hammering, and I love it. Keep hammering. Good things will happen. So keep up the hard work, and you will not be disappointed.
And you know what, too? Speaking of injuries and stuff like that, I think it's important to, if you do have a serious injury, don't be a couch potato. No, you don't want to do that. If you have a bad ankle injury and you can't hit the treadmill that day, then work your upper body. If do something. And most importantly, if you're gonna be out during 2 weeks or whatever, watch what you eat.
Yeah.
Watch what your body consumes, because it will throw everything off. So remember, just because you have a serious injury doesn't mean that you can't work out another part of your body. You know what I mean?
That's
so
right.
Keep it moving. Don't lose your groove. Don't let something, and it comes back to the mind. You know what I mean? You have to apply yourself and go out there and get it. Squeeze the juice.
The juice is worth the squeeze.
Yeah, the juice is loose.
Yeah, and the other thing is mentally it helps you. If you've been training and you've got a bit of an injury, to just stop cold turkey, mentally you'll feel worse. If you at least do some other type of exercise to work on your cardio or some strength and conditioning type stuff, it'll keep your mind fresh. It'll stop you from getting bummed out about the injury itself. So that's great advice. I like that.
Good deal.
Well, I think we have come to the tail end of our show, the last little bit.
This is the sad part, the ending of the show.
It is
You
kinda
just want
sad.
to keep talking,
Yeah,
you don't want this thing to end. I don't know if you just want to keep talking.
Yeah.
I got
We got to get to the end eventually. People can't spend 15 hours or whatever listening to us. So I'm gonna let you do your shout out, and let's get close to wrapping this puppy up.
My shout out for this week is going to be all the small conference college basketball teams that don't get put on primetime, ESPN, ABC, CBS on Saturday afternoons, that don't get the notoriety that they deserve, because they've made the tournament, so they deserve it. So I can't name them all because I only know about 3 schools. But shout out to those teams that have clinched a berth in the NCAA tournament.
Those small schools, man, they show you the true joy of
yeah.
college basketball.
And what sports is all about, what positive sports is all about.
They're not playing for the money. They don't care about the big contracts. Most of them are not going to get big contracts.
Yeah.
They're just wanting to keep playing and keep going on in the tournament. That's a good one. That is a very good one. My shout out today, I have to think about mine here for a second. I'm not.
You didn't come prepared?
No, I just I just don't.
Shame on you.
Yeah, well, actually, I do have a shout out. My shout out is going to be different. Mine is going to be. I'm not going to do a shout out. I'm going to do a birthday out. I am going to wish someone a happy birthday.
Oh!
My co-host, who turns 21 again.
Holy cow.
He turns 21 again tomorrow. I believe it's for the
15th time.
Who cares how many times? He turns 21 again. So what else do you get, the sandwich eating gym rat, than a sandwich, right? So
that's awesome.
With that said, happy birthday, my brother. We're gonna sing you a little happy birthday.
Awesome.
And maybe we'll even let you eat the sandwich. It's a real sandwich.
I'll eat it with the candles on there lit.
So on the count of 3, on the count of 3, right? 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Alex. Happy Happy birthday to you. I feel bad now that I give you a hard time about singing.
That was great. I appreciate it. That means a lot to celebrate my birthday on the Positive Sports Podcast.
With a sandwich. Hey, we're going to have some sandwiches because that's the way we kick it with my brother when it's his birthday. But for you guys, ignore the negativity. Be the positivity.
Peace.